Hello and welcome to the HVZDY i NEHVIZDECH meeting in Czechia. This is a World Athletics Continental Tour Silver meeting getting ready for its 8th edition. This is a European Athletics live stream. My name is HVZDY and I hope you enjoy the evening. As you can see, we have some distinguished guests, including Helena Fibingerova, the world champion in the shot put from 1983, just to the right of picture there. Standing next to her left, Libor Varhanik, president of Czech Athletics, and a key representative involved with the Czech Olympic Committee. He's also been involved with European athletics as well. So as I say, this meeting getting ready for its 8th edition, and the women's shot put called the Helena Fibingerova Cup as well, in her honour. Still second best on the all-time list with 22 meters 50 from 1977. Which is second overall behind Natalia Livskovskaya's world record, 22.63. So that's one of the key competitions to look out for today. We'll go through in more detail in a moment the key clashes that are involved and some of the headline names to watch. Just spotted in the background right of picture, you can see that it looks like some of the pupils have done some drawings of some of the athletes. It's nice to get that involvement. So there's a little opening ceremony before the action scheduled to get underway in around 15 minutes time, at which point we'll go through and introduce all of the athletes, of course. This meeting obviously coming at a key time in the year, just before national championships. Athletes looking to build form before the European Indoor Championships in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands, which is coming up soon, just a couple of weeks away, between the 6th and 9th of March, and then later on next month, the World Indoor Championships. So Libor Varhanik being introduced there. As mentioned, he's the president of Czech Athletics. Well, if you've been watching some of these European athletics streams, you will have seen a number of these World Athletics Indoor Tour events just focusing on selective specialist disciplines. Just covering the Springer jump meeting, which just had high jump and pole vault, and it was fascinating to see how the crowd and spectators were packed in close to the action. As well as that, the athlete that was jumping at any given time was the only thing happening, so each athlete really had a sense of occasion on each go and was able to try and make the most of that. Obviously, with that comes some pressure. The camaraderie of field events also combined well with the organised use of music and in some cases pyrotechnics as well, just to try and build up an atmosphere and keep up excitement too. So, with the action scheduled to get underway in 10 minutes' time, we will let this opening ceremony play out, and we'll get started once these introductions have concluded.
Slaví 48. výročí světového rekordu, který v Jablonci dnešní den hodila. Já věřím, že ji udělají koulařky radost, protože se přidají k té oslavě hezkým výborem. Užijte si krásnou odpoledne a díky, že jste přišli.
Ale Libore, nikdo ji nepřekoná dneska. To je 22:50 a má nikdo nárok. No a v pozadí po poslední pátý, ale ne nevýznamný, Tomáš Vojtek, prosím.
Tak kdyby já už to opravdu nebudu zdržovat, všichni se těšíme na závody a chtěl bych ještě jednou poděkovat všem, co přišli, co nám s touhletou akcí celoročně pomáhají, vypíchnout ještě jednou slavné výročí. Teď už troufám si říci, že mohu říci kamarádky Helenky a předat jí aspoň malou pozornost. Na tohleto předání bych poprosil ještě kolegu Dušana Molitorise, který je ředitel kamarádského mítinku v Jablonci, protože tam právě paní Fibingerová ten světový rekord hodila.
Na tom pohlavě vidíte, že také 48. výročí světového rekordu
Well, that was a lovely performance there from the young Czech singers. And nice to get the involvement from all generations. So, spectators excited to see a piece of the athletics action, but also enjoying the talent of these performers. And this is the schedule for what's coming up. As you can see, first event will be the women's shot put, men's high jump, and then men's shot put here. Well, there we are. Great performance by the young local singers. And very shortly we'll introduce some of the athletes. So taking a look at the lineup first for the women's shot put, the Helena Fibingerova Cup. Now you can see here the big battle really I think is concerning Jessica Schilder and Sarah Mitten of the Netherlands and Canada respectively. So the world indoor champion against the European champion with a personal best of over 20 meters. And interestingly, their vests also display their PBs, which is good from an information point of view. Maria Rafaelu, young Greek athlete, you can see there on the left-hand side. This is Liv Sands, 21-year-old Canadian indoor shot put champion. Katrin Brzyszkowska of Czechia. She's won 4 national titles here. Erna Sole Gunnarsdottir, 24-year-old from Iceland, a European under-20 medalist. Maria Belén Toimil of Spain is 4th on PBs here and is a Spanish champion indoors and out. Jessica Inschuder, an Olympic finalist where she was 8th last year in Paris. Jessica Schilder, so again, key one to watch out for. She's won both of the last 2 European titles, over 20 meters this year as well. And Sarah Mitten, as you can see, she's improved her personal best this month in Karlsruhe in Germany, 2068 for the world indoor champion, of course winning that title in Glasgow around a year ago now. It was the start of March last year. So yes, that's come around quickly, but also, as we were saying, the European and World Indoor Championships very much looming on the horizon. So you can see very intimately packed in nature to this competition, making use of the remote control cars that have become such a feature over the last decade or two. You really do get the feeling that every inch of this venue is decked out and prepared for this competition. So with Sarah Mitten and Jess Schilder, we also have the world and the European leader as well. Both of them over 20 meters this year. Mitten 2068 with that new personal best, and Schilder 2009. Maria Rafaelidou, European under-18 shot put champion last year, 1589 at best. She's already won the Balkan under-20 indoor title this year. Great to have the results graphics here. 14:56, so 12 centimeters off her season's best. So 8 athletes involved. You would expect them all to get 6 efforts in. And as we so often see with a shot put, the rounds can rattle through quite quickly. Liv Sands, 21 years of age. You can see one of the taller athletes in this competition, using the rotational technique there. 1575.
Čeká Kateřina Břiškovskou, jinak doplníme, že Sencová hodila 15,75 a vede. Nyní může ve svým pokleskem a jedinou českou účastnici ve finále podle žen.
This is the home athlete here, 22-year-old Kateřina Břiškovská. Personal best set last year in Ostrava, 17:39. So that was last summer in June. She was 5th at the World Under-20 Championships in Cali in Colombia, although just about every young athlete has been a finalist in a World Under-20s recently. I mean, we've had 3 of them in some 3.5 years. Erna Sole Gunnarsdottir. Personal best of 17:92 set last year in Alabama. So she's 24, but she's already won 6 Icelandic titles outdoors. You can see just holding on to her balance there, but 17:58. Really strong effort in the first round, 5 centimeters off her season's best. Maria Belén-Toimil, Spanish champion indoors and out over the last 4 years. That personal best set in Castellón in Spain in 2021, and it remains the national record. So rotating there towards that 17-meter mark, which appears to be the first of those white lines marked out in the sector, as you can see. 17, 19 and 21 looks like the third one. 16:87. Jessica Inschüder, 28-year-old Portuguese athlete, European indoor 4th placer. That was, of course, in Istanbul. You see in the Sporting Lisbon club colours there. And that was approaching the 19-meter mark, 18:32. So, very solid opening to the competition. Now we wait to see what Jessica Schilder can do. On the European gold medal in Munich, successfully defending that in Rome last summer. Personal best 20:33 in Hengelo last year, the Dutch national record. So Schilder, good grip on that shot. You can see unleashes it, pushes all the way through, and it's almost like the camera is wobbling there. Once that shot hits the ground, it's almost like a mini earthquake from that angle. 18:83. Well, it's really nice to have a clear head-to-head battle and to be able to bill it as exactly that. And that's what we have here. European leader versus world leader, Sarah Mitten. Let's see what she's capable of. And see, transfers that weight and energy around. And I wonder whether this is also going to start with 18 meters. Short of that 19 line there. Indeed it will. 18:17. So in second place so far is Mitten. You'd have to say that HVŠZDY has maybe had the best start to the competition relative to her best among the top few. As the others that are around her have PPs over 20 metres, but hers is 19.10. Back to HVŠZDY, which signals the start of the second round. You can see the shot just veering a little off to the right there for the Greek athletes. Let's have another look again, rotating and accelerating well. Just pushing a little off to that side. 14.34, so no improvement, but looking fairly consistent. Don't forget she's still a teenager. This is Liv Sands, the compatriot of Sarah Mitten. There we are, dead in the centre, but perhaps she would have liked more distance on that, Sands. And see, such a tall frame doesn't perhaps build up as much speed when rotating as some of the other athletes, but still uses that power, those long legs to her advantage. Bežičkovská, you can see she's wearing the Vita vest. Again, holding that shot just below the ear. Under control just about. And she was off balance there. A little rueful smile, as the execution had been fairly strong to that point. And won't be measured in the end. So we move on to NEHVIZDECH Gunnarsdóttir. Again, another one of the taller athletes here. The Icelandic international. Managed to stay on her feet there right until the end, but did well to hold that. So another athlete not quite improving in distance, but has at least got a decent mark in from the first round of 17.58. Back to the Spanish champion, Maria Belén Toimil. Again, sitting initially, and her foot slipped out of the circle there. So again, that won't be measured, unfortunately, for Toimil. Last few efforts here of this second round. Jessica HVŠZDY, she's in second place. 18.32 so far. Looking for that steady grip under the chin. Dips low, pushes off, leans back. Transfers that weight. That looked like a good effort there from HVŠZDY. So these measurements also coming up nice and quick. 18.39, so consolidates her position. Well, we know that Jessica HVŠZDY is capable of much more and would be able to produce it at any time during the competition. World bronze medalist indoors and out. 6th at the Olympic Games in Paris last year. HVŠZDY, you can see great speed towards the final phase just before she executes the put. And of course, has to use that speed, transfer the energy, push all the way through the implement. (1871). So an opportunity then for Sarah Mitten. Also the Pan American Games winner last year. So let's see what she can do in this circle. Foot was right up against the edge there. Early on. And gets the red flag. As I said, we moved through fairly quickly. We're now already in the third round with HVŠZDY. Well, it's great for her to actually be in the competition against some of these senior athletes. Let's see if she can improve on 14.56. Yes, again, just pushing off a little far to that side. May lose a bit of distance as a result. She's just 1 centimetre off what she did in the first go. So Liv Sands, personal best of 17.07. That was set in Philadelphia last May, so coming up to a year ago. Again, pushes hard there, but off to that left-hand side this time. Well, let's see what she's managed to do here. Does improve, 15.93. Well, it's so difficult for each athlete to really expect a certain distance on any given day, at any given meeting. Many reasons why you wouldn't be able to necessarily extract 100% from your body, even if you put in a certain distance last week. HVŠZDY looking to try and build herself into a rhythm here. The young Czech athlete with 16.92 so far this year in Virginia. And she's just 10 centimetres off that season's best. You're watching live coverage then of this meeting here in the Czechia. HVŠZDY Nehvizdeč women's shot put competition. It's a World Athletics indoor tall silver meeting. Gunnarsdóttir of Iceland again just about keeps her balance. 17.58 we spotted previously. 17.44 this time. So her best effort in this competition is within 34 centimetres of her lifetime best. So she started well here. HVŠZDY just getting some advice there from the 1983 world champion Fibingerova. Toymil lets out the roar. She tries to strain everything to get every centimetre. 16.98. So we're seeing small improvements here as the athletes adjust to their surroundings. And a small improvement is what Jessica Inchud managed from the second round compared to the first. 18.39 so far for the Portuguese shot putter. Standing in this circle. So again, towards 19 meters. See with the glide technique, but she rotates around on the follow through. There we go, so 3 efforts within some 19 centimeters, I make it. Schilder. Let's see what she's capable of here. Is she going to show it in this next round? You can see she rotated there around a really tight spot. Really made use of the circle well. Got great grip there and showed her agility. 19.97. Really strong and good to see her reaction there. She's pleased with that. Well, with one obvious competitor, Sarah Mitten, knows that it's a head-to-head and now knows that she should try and respond to what Schilder's just done. Many athletes have tried to in the past. There you go, really ups the ante. Sarah Mitten gets the applause from the spectators, the world leader. We've already seen what she can do earlier this month. Again, feet placed very close to the edge of the circle there. 19.63. Well, this is after the first 3 rounds and Schilder leading the way from Mitten. That's more or less how we thought it might go. Inchud in 3rd place, rather distant 3rd at this stage, and Gunnar Stottir doing well in 4th. The others maybe generally a little bit off their best. So now, of course, the order is reset from 8th to 1st as we get ready to continue with the second half of this competition. The athletes just chatting among themselves. That 3rd round there, once the proverbial cobwebs were dusted off, chance to really put in a strong showing. You can see the SpongeBob SquarePants socks there of HVÍZDY. Not sure what else to say about those, so we'll let the action do the talking. 3 efforts within just over 20 centimeters of one another. You can see she's having an issue though with just pushing off too hard towards that one side. I'm sure it's something that she can correct, but just naturally continuing that full rotation. should be closer to a half rotation when the body comes to the front. Liv Sands, can she get over 16 meters for the first time here? Not necessarily on that evidence of where that shot landed. 15.65 for Liv Sands. So all closely matched so far, clearly listening to maybe some of the coaching advice. Katrin Brzyszkowska, 16.82 so far. Rotating nice and quickly there, but distance again falling short of what she would have wanted. Well, at the moment it's Jessica Schilder of the Netherlands with 19.97. Sarah Mitten, the Canadian, with 19.63. And Jessica Inschuder with 18.39. So that's our top three as things stand. And then there's best part of a meter's gap back to Erna Soleil Gunnarsdottir, 17.58. This woman, Maria Belen-Toimil, has 16.98. So she would need 60 centimeters, 61 centimeters, in fact, if you look at count back, in order to improve one position, go up into fourth place. Let's see if she can do it. Really pushes hard towards the end there. You can see as she was rotating towards the end of that phase, pushes up nice and high. Shot comes down fairly sharply, 17.14. So doesn't quite do enough to improve positionally, but she is closer to the sharp end. Erna Soleil Gunnarsdottir, 17.58. That came in the first round, though. And that doesn't look to be any improvement. Looking a little bit disappointed. The shot goes crashing on those yellow and black mats. Jessica Inschuder having a strong competition so far, though. As I was saying, all three efforts within 19 centimeters of one another. Her coach will be pretty pleased with that. So standing in this circle, you can see it's a simpler technique compared to the rotation, the step back, the linear glide. (18.15). So, wow, very much continues to be misconsistency. So men's shot put and men's high jump, I should say, are the other two events to focus on later this evening as the meeting progresses here. On to Sarah Mitten. Again, nice rotation, shot goes up nice and high. And once again, she's pretty pleased with that. So let's have a look. 19.63 so far. 34 centimeter gap to our leader, Schilder. 19.64, so just the improvement by 1 centimeter. Shot ready for action there. You can see using the powder for good grip. Make sure to use all of her body here, all of her muscle groups. These are the key ones. HVZDY. 1997, the leading mark. Is it about to change? 1866, a little further back than it looked. Spectators out in force. We're into the penultimate round here. Rafailova. Yes, you can see she's just learning the ropes a little with the senior shot. Rafailova. So there's two consecutive no throws. All valid so far. For Liv Sand, she finds herself in 7th place, 15.93. Needs 89 centimeters to improve. Hasn't done that here. Looking to get the right balance of power and speed. And also to stay on her feet. Well, Fibingerdova in the background was talking to Brzezikowska. I wonder whether she had any wise words of advice. Getting the crowd going now, starting to applaud in the background, as you can probably hear. Oh, Brzezikowska, she did marvellously well there. That does eventually fall out, unfortunately. But still competing with a smile here, the athlete from Czechia. Maria Belen Toymil improved previously, 16.98. That was the effort we saw. And then 17.14 in this 4th round. Again, shot goes up very high and smacks down on the ground. $16.69. Let's go through the top 5 places again. As Gunnarsdottir gets ready again. HVZDY in 1st place, 1997. Mitten, 1964. Then a gap to HVZDY, 1839. Gunnarsdottir here is on 17.58. Doesn't look to have changed with this latest measurement. And Maria Toymil, 17.14. Well, pretty much all of the athletes are quite young here, but some have already won those national titles and got international medals as well. You can include all of the top 3 that I just read out in that. Crowd starting to get behind HVZDY as well. And the shot went just a tiny bit off to the left-hand side, but still Showed good technique. 18:58. Well, she was pushed down by the improvements to the two big names here. Her aim will be to keep them honest if she can. So Sarah Mitten looking to get closer to 20 meters. And that looked fantastic. She just about held her balance. I wonder if she did get the red flag. Looks like she did, yes. Obviously, we just cut away to see where the shot landed. She'll have one more to go, but yes, you can see, obviously you come into each competition with high hopes and, well, at least to be consistent, to try and build form, but competitions can be over quite quickly. Just ask some of the 60-meter runners. And it's the same for some of the throwers and the putters and jumpers as well. Especially if you get a foul like that. It can be quite frustrating knowing what was possible, but I suppose you just have to trust what might happen when a gold medal or other colour medal is up for grabs. Schilder with a very business-like approach. 18:87 so far, so 1.1 meters off her best in this competition today. Well, just like that, we appear to be on to the final round with Maria Rafalida of Greece. 14:56 to this point, and she needs 1 meter and 39 centimeters, I make it. Rafalida, unfortunately, another red flag, so she'll finish here with 14:56. But still, you have to remember this is a learning curve for her, competing against these seniors. If Sands, the Canadian, can she get over at 16 meters? We now have 5 athletes. The top 5 have all managed it. Well, unfortunately, we quite often see those no measurements in the final round. Athletes really going for it. They've got a solid effort in, but they want to try and pull everything out of the bag in a meeting like this. Sometimes it leads to brilliance, and other times just maybe lack of discipline, where they've taken that extra little amount of risk in the hope that it will pay dividends. Brzeziskowska not had the smoothest competition, unfortunately. Couple of fouls that she's had. Just the 2 valid efforts in the end. Maria Tomil steps in looking confident. Again, she'll try and get this grip on the shot just right. Initially dip low to push off, transfer the weight. Leans backwards, you can see there. Just like a coiled spring, unleashes that energy that's been built up. Pushes through the equipment. 17:27. That's a great end to the competition. And just shows you they're one of the more experienced athletes here. Is able to pull everything out, pull out all the stops in the final round. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a gap between her and HVÍZDY, so the Icelandic international remains in 4th place. Just 3 more efforts to come then. So the announcer here calling on the athletes to fight for medals. Let's see what's possible then. HVÍZDY 18:58 so far, but would need a personal best. Would need a personal best in order to improve positionally, and it would have to be by half a meter, and she hasn't done that here. This still remains interesting though, this battle out front, very much so. Sarah Mitten, 2068 this year. She's 1.04 centimeters off that. And Jessica Schilder, 1997. So the crowd really going to get behind Sarah Mitten now to see whether she can be our first athlete over 20 meters. So he gets good grip on that shot, winds herself up for that rotation, and really hits hard that ground over 19 meters. It doesn't look like she's going to be today's winner. (1947) there for Mitten. And it means that Jessica Schilder has won the meet and won it fairly handsomely by 33 centimeters. She'll be pleased in some ways to have held on to that when under pressure, but she herself always deals very, very well with pressure. 5 efforts in and on the board. Oh, that was interesting. She rotated really, really quickly there. I wonder whether the circle was a little bit slippy. It wasn't the most free-flowing movement as some of her previous best efforts had been. Well, there have been other shot put competitions today, includes the men's B final, which was won by Irish athlete Eric Favors, 20:05. More on that on the atletica.cz website, the federation website. Schilder, Mitten, HVÍZDY, the top 3 then you can see. Fairly decent gaps, particularly between 2nd and 3rd, and then a metre between getting that proverbial bronze and 4th place. Well, you've got a sense there of the sort of view that the athletes will get in the high jump right next to it, and especially some of the young children here will really get an idea of what goes on in the high jump and the skills that are required. But yes, just going back to what I was saying, Eric Favors winning the B final, 20:05, a season's best. For him, Tadeusz Prohaska of the Kladno club, another Czechia athlete, 1973 for second, and Szymon Mazur of Poland, 1947 in the men's shot put. Also had a men's high jump B final. That was, I believe, the first event of the day. Much earlier, with Thomas Lauber winning with 198, his best attempt. Lukas Holubeck 190, and third place Pavel Kreška 185. But before the shot circle can be used, just getting a little hoover between competitions, which is brilliant. And it's funny that, obviously, because I love how we combine the high tech with the traditional household techniques. Obviously, we use a broom often to rake the sandpit, or a rake, maybe the best term. And here using a hoover just to keep the circle ready. So the results from this competition can be viewed on the Czech Athletics website. So that is online.atletica, which is spelled ATLETIKA.CZ. And you'll be able to find the results here. So the next event scheduled to be the men's high jump, and we're expecting that will get underway within the next 20 minutes. So this again is the A final. As I mentioned, B final has taken place earlier. And 12 athletes on the start list, including 3 from Japan and 3 from Mexico. It's fairly unusual that you see a large contingent of athletes from Mexico and include 3 in that. You sometimes see in the distance events or even the marathon, because of the altitude advantages, like some of the other South American countries. Giving a bit of an international flavour, as you can see also by the flags. And whenever I see a row of flags, it's very tempting to try and guess which countries they all are. But I feel like somewhere around the middle would probably get stuck. Certainly you can pick out the Japanese and Mexican flags, so I wonder if it's possible that the flags have been put up specially for the nationalities that are competing here. But they take us right from China to to Australia, Kazakhstan, Japan, Latvia, Morocco, Norway, Greece, Croatia, Ukraine, Israel. I think that's Ecuador. And obviously it's similar to Colombia. Sweden. And I think with the stars it's Syria. Although there has been a bit of a change of flag there recently. Turkey and Mexico on the outside. So I think there's just two flags there that I'd be a little bit hesitant as to which they are. It's two from the left and two from the right. Answers on the back of a postcard. Well, one of the more recognisable names on the start list is Thomas Carmoy of Belgium. Personal best of 2:29. And Carmoy, well, if you've been watching the European Athletics live streams over the last few years, he's of course come through the under-20 championships, which he won in 2019 in Gävle in Sweden, where they were nearly 6 years ago now. And then he got a bronze medal at the European Indoors in Istanbul. So we'll just wait for these athletes to finish warming up and for the competition to be close to getting started, which it will be getting underway in just a couple of minutes' time. So now going through introducing our male high jumpers, including Japanese contingent with Naoto Hasegawa. You can see there, Portillo, the two high jumping brothers. In a moment we'll see his brother Eric. This is Roberto Vilches, his compatriot. 24 years of age, Eric Portillo. 2:28 at best. Thomas Carmoy, who I was just picking out a moment ago, that personal best from Istanbul 2 years ago, 2:29. Alperen Aset of Turkey. Ryoichi Akamatsu, Japanese athlete who was 5th at the Olympic Games last year. And his compatriot is Tomohiro Shino, the Asian Games bronze medalist. Some of the youngsters from the local Nehvizdy club. So as you can see, getting the youth involved, watching on, or having a small role is clearly a very big part of the ethos of this meeting. Well, we're now having a presentation for the medals. The women's shot put, Helena Fibingueira Cup. Jessica Inchida, Portugal. I mentioned she started off the competition well, not too far from her personal best, and laden with medals and gifts. 18:58 there, her best effort. Nearly a metre ahead. Sarah Mitten, 1964. Just sharing a few words there with Fibingueira. Jessica Schilder, though, taking the title here and winning the cup. So she gets the gold medal. 1997, we did wonder whether we'd see an effort over 20 metres, but it was still a good battle between the two top-ranked athletes here. And it looks like, well, I'm just wondering if that's a bottle of wine there that they've received alongside the flowers. A lovely touch. And soft toys. And this is to go with what they had already received at the start when they were presented in the introductions. So I hope they've left some space in their suitcases. So having a look here at Adam Tomaszek opening up the competition this early height of 199. And as you'd hope, as you'd expect, going clear at this height. Another great clearance. So opening height of the competition, Marek Baniak. So the second of two Czech athletes in this. And he clears at 2:04. So 199 was actually listed as the opening height, but apologies, no one actually decided to come in that early. Portillo achieves great height there, you could see, and he was also disciplined, you could see there, made sure that his long frame didn't get caught and pushed down that bar. So not everybody entering just yet. Looks like Eric Portillo might enter at 2:14. This is Roberto Vilches. Again, one of the taller jumpers here, and has to be careful that he doesn't take the bar off with his feet. Really attacks there. Beautiful spring. Makes it look very easy. Alperen Aset, the Turkish athlete here. So he was fifth at the European Championships in Berlin in 2018. Balkan champion 2 years ago. Approaching with a long run up, you can see he didn't quite attempt to clear the bar in the centre. Carried in a lot of speed coming in. Still a strong attempt. I'm sure he's very capable of correcting that. Personal best of 2:30, as said. He's cleared 2:14 so far this year. So a good one to watch back and figure out exactly what he did wrong. Difficult because you want to accelerate towards that bar, make sure you have the momentum, but you also got to make sure it's quite a controlled stride. And you feel he just lacked a little bit of control on the approach there. And that impacted him on the takeoff. So not too many athletes have entered just yet, and that is the main reason why we're seeing Aset go straight away again at this height, and that was much, much better. Still not too much distance between him and that bar. But the main thing is it was a clean jump. So just waiting to see whether the bar will go up to 209. Certainly that's what's expected. All of the athletes will come in apart from Portillo at this next height of 209, and we know already that we've seen 5 athletes go clear, 4 of them doing so at the first attempt. So Tomaszek, Barnik, Vilches and Jair Portillo with no failures at this point. Aset with the 1 failure, just using the tape there to mark out his run-up. So these key small adjustments can make the difference. As we can see, there's a whole other set of flags on the other side of the room, including Brazil, Portugal, Slovakia. I think we've got every country covered for sure. Nice little setup with the announcer watching on right in the centre of the action. Lovely position to be that. Rather sad looking big teddy bear in the background. Just looks a little bit droopy. Tomaszek looking like he's going to attempt the climbing wall there. Maybe it's something for Asset to do before his next go. Adam Tomaszek at 2:09 here. So the athlete from Czechia. And that was a very good clearance. Interesting that he chose to enter one height before anyone else. Sometimes, of course, if you enter too late, it can appear a sign of overconfidence, and no one wants a situation where you know height in an environment where you're the only one jumping at one particular time. A lot of spotlight on you. This is Antonios Merlos. We've seen bring the bar down here with his first go at 2:09. Marek Barnik. So another athlete from Czechia and another beautiful clearance. So Merlos, the only one to fail here at 2:09. That's so close that you can greet your friends in the audience watching. Brian Rotz, the South African. So this is the first time we've seen him. And he looks to be over 2:09, although admittedly we didn't see it initially. His season's best 2:17 in Trinets. So clearly doing a bit of a tour of this part of the world at this stage in the season. Naoto Hasegawa, 28-year-old Japanese. Hasegawa went clear there. Now interesting, you can see the athletes at the side at the back of the warm-up track. I think they're on two different sides there. Really quite creatively making use of this space. Yaya Portillo, he's managed 2:22 so far this year, and that was an expert clearance. As I mentioned, his brother Eric will be the last of the athletes to enter the competition. Really nice arc of his body to reach his way over. It's almost an art form when you see the athletes get it spot on and just complement the shape of the bar in the way that they curl their body around it, maintaining the same gap in terms of space all of the time. It was more the case there for Portillo compared to Vilches, who was a little closer to it. So lots of clearances at 2:09 in quick succession, and that's why Merlos will have to wait a bit of time for his go. Thomas Carmoy here, the Belgian now. What can he do? Oh, beautiful spring. It was lovely to hear the sound, actually. Get the microphones nice and close to the action. You could hear as he leapt off that ground. Back to Alperen Asset. Always a sign of a good athlete who've failed at a previous height and then can clear at a first attempt at the next one. And there you go, that did appear to be more controlled. Don't forget that failure was his first jump of the competition, and even though the athletes have been warming up, sometimes you just need a bit of adjustment, and warming up is different to the competition proper. Ryoichi Akamatsu, one of the athletes to watch in this competition, along with Thomas Kamoy and Eric Portillo. I think they're the three that would be most likely to win overall. Maybe they'll all end up in the medals. Let's wait and see. Very strong there from Akamatsu. Well, also top 8 in the world in Budapest in 2023, as well as that Olympic 5th place last year. His personal best 2:31, 4 centimeters off Naoto Tobei's Japanese record. Tomohiro Shino, he was top 8 in the world in Eugene in 2022. Big leap off the ground there. Really interesting to watch his technique. To really use his upper body. Nice controlled stride and yes, lent into the jump nicely. We said that Merlos would have to wait a couple of minutes before his second go. Now's his time. And this height has been reasonably straightforward for our competitors today. And this time it is for Merlos. Well, we're going to continue to go up in increments of 5 centimeters. So the next height will be 2:14.
2.14, 214 cm. Na pohled výšku jde laťka.
So naturally the bar reset. And this is the last height of which will go up by 5, then it will be by 4 and then 3 and then 2. So 2:14 and then 2:18. 2:22, 2:25, 2:28 and 2:30. If we make it there, of course. You're watching live coverage of this European Athletics live stream and World Athletics Indoor Tour Silver Meeting. HVŽDY in NEHVIZDECH in Czechia. Adam Tomacek from the Atletica Olomouc club. Olomouc, which is towards the east of Czechia, inwards from Ostrava, and northeast of Brno. Nehvizdy on the outskirts of Prague. Of course, the capital city of Czechia. And one of the best European cities for sure. Fortunately though, for this young Czech athlete, Tomaszek, bar comes down at 2:14, so that's the end of his perfect record. Antonios Merlos, Greek athlete, going again now. Again, leading in nicely. Just looked like his expression on his face just looked like he's about to check his run up and is very conscious of what's going on. Don't want to use the word nervous, but certainly it appears something close to that without trying to second guess him. Well done to 20 champion Merlos. This is Malek Barnik. That was a close attempt, but bar just gets brushed off there, unfortunately. Let's have another look. Maybe maybe just taking away a little bit too far away from that bar. Very fine margins. So he has the Hradec Królové vest there. To Brian Raats, the South African, eyes on the prize there, but not achieving the height that was required. We're now going to introduce the men's shot putters then. Again, another event that's had a B competition earlier that was won by Eric Fabers, the Irishman. So this is Mohammed Daoud Tolu, the Saudi Arabian international Asian Games silver medalist. Nick Ponzio, a name that many of our viewers will know. Personal best of 21.83 and part of a great Italian contingent here. This is Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, the 32-year-old Nigerian. Thomas Staniak, national record holder, 22.17 at best. Four-time European indoor medalist. Zane Weir, the current reigning European indoor champion. And Leonardo Fabri, the European outdoor champion, of course. And the organisers very excited about having him here for the first time. And they were joking that I hope he doesn't put a hole in the arena's wall. Such is the fierce nature of his fantastic throwing in recent seasons. 22.98 at best, 5th all time. That could be in Brussels last year. Yeah, Portillo. Well, once again, he does appear to have beautiful technique. Keeps the momentum going all the way through his body, including that flick of the heel there, just to get his feet away from the bar, make sure they clear too. All counts. So nice and easy at 2.14. Vilches here, unfortunately, narrowly bringing the bar down. So can't do what his compatriot did. Eric Portillo. So seeing him for the first time here. The last athlete to enter the competition, always a sign of a confident man. 2.28 at best. North and Central American champion at under 23 level back in 2019. 24 years of age. Portillo looking good. Looking very good. And made that appear quite easy. Again, it appears that he's taking off fairly close to the bar. It looks like he's got a lot to do to make that clearance. And then does it. You can see he's got a bit of a swagger about him as well. So this high jump with quite a big field. Athletes and everyone's still involved at this point. Thomas Carmoy, another one of our major contenders here, we think. And so he's also over at 2.14. We're going to have these events running simultaneously now. And Kyle Blinyo, you can see in the men's shot put, the South African. Another nation that's brought a decent contingent here. You know that several of the South Africans often tour around Europe together, particularly in the summer. A number of them often spending time in Italy. Blinyo, 25-year-old, who was 6th at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, 1917, in this opening round. officials letting Andrei Toda, the Romanian, know that the circle is clear and ready. 7th at the European Championships in Rome. Really good acceleration, but he just slips out there. Oh, he really had a task against the odds to stay in. Really pushing everything inside such a tight space, of course. And it's often underestimated the agility that is needed in order to rotate around such a fine point. Andrei Toda, one of the leading lights of Romanian track and field, particularly in the field events over the last few years with Alan Ferfrica, discus thrower. Mohamed Daoud Tolo, Asian Games silver medalist. Slightly unorthodox technique there. You can see that the shot just goes off out to the left-hand side as he rotates around on the follow-through. 1929. Really excited to see these Italians in action. Nick Ponzio, quite an eccentrist. I think his Sebastian says not dead yet. 30-year-old. He was 4th at the Europeans in Munich 2.5 years ago. 21.83 at best. That was in Leiria in Portugal, former host of the European Throwing Cup. Ponzio, well, you can see these markers: 17, 19, 21 and 23, I believe, or 20 and 23. Ponzio 20.55, which matches his season's best. Chukwuebuka Cornell, also known as Chukwuebuka Enekwechi. A little bit disappointed. Let's have another look here. Rotating, but just a little bit out of control towards the end, just off balance. 21.91, his personal best. Expect to switch between the high jump and the shot put, just watching the early stage of this competition, and particularly one to watch for Tomasz Staniak. Can't miss him, the home favourite, 33 years of age now, European indoor champion in 2021. National record holder, 22.17 at best. Over 22 metres, really is world-class level. And look at that, a great start. So close to 21, it's hard to see exactly, but does appear to be that 21 metre mark there. .2079 for Staniak. Really good opening there. So that's 12 centimetres off his season's best. Shane Weir looking like he's leading a cycling race at the moment. Wouldn't be out of place in the Tour de France, that yellow jersey. The 29-year-old, 5th at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Really nice rotation there, very much in control. Made good use of his power. Transferring the energy, pushing all the way through the implement, you can see there. Went up nice and high and achieved good distance. 20-20. So actually it's beginning to look quite close in the standings. Obviously we had a great battle between two athletes that we predicted in the women's competition, but this could shake up as opposed to what you might have thought on paper. Leo Fabbri, the Italian, oh, I think he's off balance there. Goes towards that right hand side. It's still a big effort though. By his standards, it's very modest. Certainly by his standards in recent times. And a couple of breakthrough seasons, and well, one of them was last year. 22.98, right up there with the best all time. Adam Tomaszek now we're looking at. Manages to stay in the competition. Tomaszek. Third time clearance at 2:14, so yes, when we left off these athletes last, we were seeing clearance after clearance at this height. And a few having a couple of issues, including Barnik and Raats. Well, back into the second round then with Blinyuk. Foot very close to the edge. Back to that in a moment. Barnik mentioned that he's had a couple of issues at 2:14. And unfortunately, unwantedly, becomes the first athlete out of the competition. Raats, Vilches and Ased also we expect to see them have to go again at this height. Andre Toda wants to get a valid mark on the board now. And just slipping out of that circle. Vilches alongside his two Mexican teammates here in this competition. What can he do? He needs to try and stay in the competition at 2:14. The bar came off early there. I hasten to add that I think his first effort at this height was the closest. Tolu of Saudi Arabia, you can see pushing off to the left, pushing very high. Still looks pretty pleased with that. Only 18-17 coming into this competition this year, but still fairly early in the season for some athletes. Particularly those in different continents that might have slightly different seasons. 2028. Now Nick Ponzio with Helena Fipingerova watching on. Just a couple of meters away. Fabbri our leader so far. Ponzio in third. With 20.55 equaling his season's best. Cutting quite a serious figure there. Ponzio less than a metre off the lead. Unfortunately though, red flag there. Cornel Enekwechi. So he's in fourth place. You can see shot nearly down the centre there. That's good placement in the sector. Unfortunately gets the red flag, but yeah, again, sometimes do see that. Once an athlete's put in a decent effort in the first round, try and take a few more risks, and that can sometimes lead to those pesky red flags. Stanek's certainly getting plenty of attention here. So, Stanek in second, 20.79 thus far. Just over half a metre off Fabbri in the lead. Early stage in proceedings. So we're trying to really take command of this circle then. Strong grip under his ear. And dips low. Pushes up high. Transfers the weight nicely. But comes well out of the circle. You see the throwing circle, often think of it as a stage for a performance, just like any actor. Trying to really take command of it and use it to his advantage. Make sure he gets everything just right, using so many different muscle groups. Maintaining good contact with the surface as well. You'll notice it's particularly visible on Zane Weir's shoes. You can see how the footwear are made to help the athlete rotate. A number of throwing shoes are. Allows them to retain good grip, of course, but also without that kind of hard edge that we often see with other types of footwear between the sole and the sides. And they sort of mould into one, they gradually curve. 21.19 for Zane Weir. And he cuts Fabri's lead to 12 centimetres. As expected, as we've seen on a number of occasions in European competitions, the Italian contingent doing well. The only trio really that can break up the fierce spirit and incredible talent of the Americans. Fabry leading that particular charge, of course. It's going to be quite similar. Well, it's going to be exactly the same. Can't ask for more than that. Now we're going up to a new height. In the high jump, as mentioned, smaller increments now, very slightly, but 2.14 becomes 2.18. We've lost Malik Banik and Roberto Vilches from the competition, so we still have 10 athletes remaining though. Portillo with a perfect record so far. He's cleared 3 heights at the first time of asking. Accelerates towards this bar and does give it a rattle. Almost like a voodoo doll, just asks it to stay still, pats it down. Once again looks really astute with his technique. I think he might even be a tiny bit taller than his brother Eric. Carl Bligno in 7th place. Now into the 3rd round. So also 8 athletes in this men's shot put, just the same as the women's, and yes, thereby everyone getting 6 attempts. 3 attempts at each height for these high jumpers, and Eric Portillo looks as though he's in the mood today. Really nice to see the Mexicans having some confident track and field athletes. We know just how rare that is at major international championships to see some Mexican success. Andre Toda. You see rotating rapidly there through the circle. Shot comes crashing in to that sector. Takes it on his stride. What about Carmoy then? Beautiful clearance from this other side for the Belgian. So we're starting to separate our contenders from those who are beginning to struggle at these higher heights. Tolu, 2028, in in that second round. And once again, the shot goes very much off to that left-hand side. You feel as though if he can make a small adjustment, that he may gain a bit of distance, but nonetheless appearing quite effective thus far. Asset of Turkey, can he be effective at 2:18? Oh yes, he can. And like I commented earlier, really nice to see when an athlete has had previous failures but can start to build that rhythm and put them behind him. On to Nick Ponzio with his third attempt. And looking like he's also growing into the competition. Well, at present, we have 4 athletes that are over at 2:18. Akamatsu looking to add to that. He does so beautifully, very much in control of his tall frame. Fantastic spring off the ground. So he maintains his perfect record. Cornel Enekwechi there. There we go, that's what Tolu would like to do, just to be right down the centre, just get those extra few centimetres. Enekwechi, one of the more experienced athletes here, along with Zdanek, 32-year-old, Commonwealth Games shot put silver in Gold Coast in 2018. So competition starting to get quite lively now as we alternate between men's shot put and high jump. Keeping the action going all the time. Zdanek's been pushed down to third by that improvement from Zane Weir that we've just seen. Ponzio hot on his heels. Ponzio improving to 20.63. He's in 4th place. Zdanek again off to that left-hand side, but looking strong here. And there's every chance that that could be an improvement, even if it will be just by a few centimetres. It is by 5, 20.84. So he's less than half a metre off our leader Fabry, but Weir and Fabry still yet to go. So they were seeded for the initial order for the first 3 rounds, and actually the top 3 are in the order that they would be if we started the second half of the competition now. Zdanek, Weir, and then Fabry, third, second and first, excuse me. So Weir with his personal best, 22 metres and 44 centimetres on his bib. And again, this is going to be very close, 20.99. As he looks just court side, sector side, shall we say, for some immediate advice. I say court because you can see underneath the sector there are lines for other sports, seemingly like basketball, maybe netball. I guess you can say courtside. Leonardo Fabry, oh, smashes into the cage. We've got all the sound effects today. He's achieved a 21.31 on 2 occasions. Back to the high jump, Tomohiro Shino. Shino, 2.31. Is PB. 2.25 indeed this year. Running really fast towards that bar. And manages to cope, using all that speed to transfer it into upwards momentum. Some very exciting high jumpers to watch here, just to see how they get on with their day job. Tomaszek. So again, 2:17 signifies his personal best. So this is for 1 centimetre PB for the athlete from Czechia, the Olomouc club in the red vest. Approaching this bar now, checked his run up a couple of times. You could tell maybe just psychologically he was thinking about it there, even though you are hesitant to read too much into facial expressions. But he's enjoyed this competition. That is also quite evident. Well, this is at the halfway stage. Only 12 centimetres separating the two Italians, Leonardo Fabri and Zane Weir. Antonios Merlos, the Greek athlete. Oh, that is beautiful. And shows the ability to correct where he's been wrong previously. Not much distance between him and the bar, but he won't care too much now. On to 2:22, he will go next. Moving into the 4th round now. Glinyo in 8th position, so he takes the first throw of this round. So bar going up to 2:22 very shortly in the high jump, and in the 4th round the men's shot put. Glinyo trying to keep up with the pace, but he's the only athlete not over 20 metres so far. Tolu only needs 1 centimetre to improve here. That is the 20-metre mark, so I don't think that's going to be any improvement for the athlete from Saudi Arabia. Officials almost running in to measure. Not too often even that you see a Saudi vest in athletics, but a reminder of just how global the sport is, as people so often say, and did say last year when St. Lucia won gold in the 100 metres at the Olympic Games through Julian Alfred. When Thierry Fond won for Dominica in the triple jump. Boko from Botswana in the 200. So Andre Toda, 20:29 in the 1st round. Then to Nemox. And now 2 efforts within 5 centimetres of each other. Only would need 8 centimetres to improve positionally though. Merlos, new height of 2:22, going again, taking off too close to the bar. Really difficult to get that controlled stride just right. Lean into it just enough. You can see compared to some of the other athletes, he really works those arms hard as he drives upwards. Switching back to see Nick Poncio in the 4th round then. So Stanek, the only thing between the Italians and a 1-2-3 clean sweep, which would be quite special. He's 21 centimetres off of Stanek. And that's most likely to remain that way for now. Let's see if I'm right on that. Does indeed, although there wasn't much in it. You're watching live coverage then of this European Athletics live stream. It's the World Athletics Indoor Tour Silver Meeting. HVŠZDY in Nehvizdech in Czechia. High jump and shot put, the key events we're focusing on. Women's shot put earlier, won by Jessica Schilder. The announcer and the crowd now really getting things going for Tomasz Stanek. Audience is pumped up. Stanek sits in, transfers his weight and continues to rotate around. I'm not sure that's going to be any improvement on 2084. 21 marker to his right. And ends up being invalid. Incidentally, no one has improved just yet in this round, but there are some good athletes who have done the standings, including Enekwechi and Toda. More on them in a moment. Let's focus on Zane Weir. So we're just trying to get the grip right, trying to feel when he's ready for the moment, when his body's ready. And smacks down once again. Well, got the red flag there. Unfortunately, we did see a flicker of a flag being held, but didn't quite catch the colour that was on it. Eric Portillo just seems to exude personality or confidence. With the Olympic rings on his necklace. So who's going to go first here? Portillo or Leo Fabri in the shot put. Looks like we will get this jump in from Eric Portillo. So accelerates well here, but keeps controlled. But bar does just get brushed off again. It looks like the same support staff or volunteers helping the athletes to get feedback immediately. I guess also by them providing that service, it provides too many people trying to do that and trying to find space. Thomas Kamoy, another still with a perfect record. Will it be upkept or will it be blemished here? Oh, Kamoy! It looked for all the world as though he could start celebrating. That was so unlucky. Back to Blinho. So this should signal that we're in the 5th round now. So it's high time we had a quick look. Fabri leading 21-31, as you were. Zane Weir, along with Fabri, foul in the 4th round, so 21-19. Stanek also red flag, so 20-84. Behind him it's pretty close, all the way down to Dolu. Mohamed Dawood Dolu. Let's see if he can get over 20 meters once again, and that looked very good. You can see clatters into that barrier. Alperen Asset. A couple of issues today, but generally been pretty solid. I just wonder if he's getting a little bit closer to what might be the limits of what's possible today. national best of 2:30, but he's already got a season's best of 4 centimeters. Andrei Toda really enjoyed that. And on the approach to 21. Toda looking pretty effective today, you have to say. 20.74. And that puts him just outside the top 3 by 10 centimeters behind Sanek in front of Nick Poncio. Akamatsu of Japan. Been impressed with all of the Japanese athletes so far, and it seems to continue as the bar goes up. And really interesting when you look at the depth of the Japanese as well, and the fact that Naota Tobe has that national record of 2:35, and all of them have jumped well in recent times. Tomohiro Shino PB of 2:31, Asagawa 2:26. So Nick Poncio has to respond. He's obviously been pushed down by Andrei Toda, as mentioned. 20.74 is that distance. I'm not sure that's quite close enough to 21 meters, but there won't be much in it. Indeed, there isn't. Thomas Stanek, you can see putting a bit of strap on his wrist and forearm. Already being carrying some, I should say, on his elbow. So I hope he's all right. Stanek remains the national record holder. From 2018 at 22.17. National record. He's also reigning European indoor bronze medalist. He's had 3 European top 5 finishes, indoors and out. That 21 line has taken a bit of a battering so far today. Stanek clearly noticing something there. He's just adjusting the bandage, shall we say, or strapping support, just to give him an advantage when he's not throwing. On to Leonardo Fabre. So watch this man's every move. This could be good, but he's out of the circle. At least you do, however, get a glimpse of what he can do. Well, that of course takes us into the 6th round of the shot put. Again, it's starting to work its way through quite rapidly, really. As for the high jump, we've seen a few failures at these heights, so obviously in the high jump we know that we're getting towards the business end, whereas the best action in the shot put could in theory come at any point. Naoto Hasegawa. Hasegawa over at 2:22. I can see, by the way, that Asset has retired at this point from the competition following that clearance that we saw. So maybe he's also nursing something. But Vilches, Barnik and Tomaszek all definitely out. 2 Czech and 1 Italians. Yeah, Portillo. Again, going at 2:22. So these athletes starting to get closer and closer to, I guess, their ultimate capabilities. This is his season's best, Portillo, 2:27 PB. So I'm sure we're going to see a higher rate of attrition, I'm afraid. Akamatsu has cleared at this height of 2:22, but doesn't look like anyone else has done so thus far. So I suspect the bar will stay where it is for some time. Tolu, last effort to improve then. Again, really giving it everything and trying to take a bit more risk in the final round, but still produce a clean effort. I mentioned already, but we'll do so again, and in case there's any Irish contingent listening, Eric Favours winning the B final a few hours ago. Best of 20.05 in the final round. Beats one of the local athletes here today, as Prahashka. Eric Portillo jumping with a smile on his face. Second attempt at 2:22, first little blemish that we've seen from him. Jogs calmly towards that bar. Quite interesting, he relies on his natural spring and athleticism, it seems. Not carrying in a huge amount of speed there, very, very controlled. Seem to have a great gymnastic ability to get off the floor. Toda out of control towards the end there. And the coach is making a phone call in the background. And we'll catch up. 2:22. Thomas Kamoy. Remember him winning that European Under-20 title back in Gävle in Sweden. It was breakthrough for a number of stars, including Mihailo Kokan in the field. And Thomas Kamoy can do it. He makes the difference and joins Akamatsu as being clear. And Portillo, the latest to enter the competition, don't forget, is having a couple of issues at this height. Kamoy has now cleared at 4 different heights. Same as Akamatsu. And also Portillo, Jair Portillo, that is. Poncio. Again, we could describe this as the business end of the competition for sure. Poncio, oh, that looks good. So what has he done here? Oh no, I don't believe it. He gets the red flag. And that will be frustrating. Oh, he looks like an absolute salmon. This guy, Tomohiro Shino, carries tremendous speed and leaps beautifully. Really is something to watch. And he's over at 2:22. Again, 4 heights cleared now. Don't see Japan winning too many medals at major championships, but they often have some great contenders. Melos of Greece. As we go through the third attempt, we're going to switch to Stanek. He's the main man here. No surprise about that. And these are indeed the final few throws. Zane Weir electing to retire, so looks like we've just got the 2 efforts remaining now. And Stanek remaining in 3rd place. 2088, our leader, 21:31. Zane Weir, 2nd place, 21:19. Final effort for the home favourite here, Stanek. Oh, you could tell, clearly misstepping there. 2 feet might have made contact with one another either way. Just wasn't in control. There was no going back from there. So no Zane Weir, as mentioned. Fabry to have the last go in a moment. It's all about distance for him now. He's won the competition. Organisers will be delighted by that. He would probably like to get closer to 22 metres. Talking of 22. 2 metres and just that many centimetres is what Brian Ratz of South Africa is going for here. So going through third attempts, unfortunately, bar whacked clean off. And can do nothing but applaud the crowd and appreciate that this just wasn't going to happen today. So shouts of "Let's go, Leo!" here inside this arena. 3 consecutive. No measurements here. What about this final go for Fabry? He will give it everything. He will give the crowd a show. And they applaud back. So Fabry, let's have a look. What is this measurement now? Does he extend his lead? 21:45. Indeed he does. So a strong showing, and I know that athletes like him will always say they wanted more. 21:95 so far this season. He's half a metre off. But still, good performance. And of course, should be a good battle at the European Indoor Championships between Leonardo Fabry and Zane Weir. I hope to see them both there, of course. Zane Weir will be defending his title, and Leonardo Fabry will be looking to add indoor gold to what he's already done outdoors in Rome on home soil last year. One of the great performers there, along obviously with Gianmarco Tamberi and Nadia Batocletti as well. Yeah, Portillo looking very focused here. This a personal duel between the Mexican and the bar. .222. Yeah, Portillo, can he do it? Oh, well, it's been frustrating the last few moments for these athletes, but we knew eventually a height would come where there'd be a higher rate of attrition. Akamatsu of Japan, his compatriot Shino and Thomas Kamoi have all cleared so far, all doing really well with great technique at this particular height. Eric Portillo, well, if anyone's going to do it that's left in the competition and going for their third attempt, then it ought to be him. Merlos already out at this height, so too Ratz, and then his brother Yair. But at least 3 athletes will go up to the next height of 225. Really trying to work the crowd now. And he's managed 225 already this year. Eric Portillo. Once again, trying to stay positive. He's led the competition with a smile. And that's how he'll finish here. But unfortunately, out 3 failures at 222. And you can see quite often when we have a one-day meeting like this, indoor tour meeting, rather than passing to go up to higher heights, athletes just trying to go through each one, go through the motions and have all 3 attempts, which is often good to see, even if those passing tactics come in and can play an important role at major championships as well. That tactics part of the game. But these are the final results then of the men's shot put competition. Fabry from Weir from Stanek, 21:45, and then 26 centimetres back is Weir and Stanek 11 off that. Leo Fabri, the Italian here, just being interviewed following the conclusion of the event with his victory. The high jump yet to conclude, of course. So Alperen Asset, one athlete that's retired now, and then Melos Hasegawa both out. So it means quite quickly we've got a much smaller field than we did a few moments ago. I count that 9 athletes attempted 222, but only 3 remain. So the 2 Portillo brothers will finish in equal 4th place, both perfect until 3 failures at that previous height. Over to you, Thomas Carmoy, at 225 now. This is for a season's best. You can see there, nowhere near the height that was required. Bar comes off early. Not one of the taller jumpers, but he always uses that speed, uses that spring really well. And when you don't have that longer frame, sometimes easier to control those legs from flicking the bar off right at the end of the jump. Akamatsu at 225, the only athlete left with a perfect record. Hopefully that's not tempting fate. Well, if he can clear this, he'll go up to 228. We're starting to get into the territory of world-class heights. So, oh, he gives the bar real rattle. Akamatsu. What a competition this man is having. In the space of the last half an hour or so, he's really consistently looked impressive. We'll have to wait and see whether anyone can match this. Ryoichi Akamatsu is 29 years of age, 5th in the high jump at the Olympic Games in Paris last year. So whatever happens, he has equalled his season's best. His teammate Tomohiro Shino just trying to visualize in his head. Just imagine this clearance going spot on. Foresee the scenario. So quite a long run up here, approaching this bar. We've seen him carry in good speed. It's that real acceleration at the end of the run. Clearly doing something different with his approach phase. Actually appears initially to keep the centre of gravity a little low. And then really pushes, using that upward momentum. Drives those knees and hips. Just fascinating to watch the subtle differences in technique, and it helps when you see athletes in quick succession as well with a small group and only a couple of disciplines involved. You really do appreciate through repetition seeing those athletes and the various differences between the techniques, and you can see that, as in many field events as well, different techniques can be effective and can appear different on the eye. Sometimes what looks like a stutter or a check of a run actually proves to be quite effective. Right then, Thomas Kamoi and Tomohiro Shino. Still with Rochi Akamatsu. Remaining in the competition, but Akamatsu the only one over. You know the rest. If they can't clear, then he wins the competition. Second attempt for the Belgian at 2:25 now. Crucial stage. And, well, I'm starting to get the feeling that it just might not be his day at 2:25. I think he's might have been giving the signal there that that will be the end of his competition. 2:24 so far this season. 2:29 his personal best. We'll wait and see, but that certainly looked to me like the signal that was it, and he won't take a third attempt. But Tomohiro Shino out here with his second go. So Shino 8th in Eugene at the World Championships there. This to equal his season's best as well. Asian Games bronze medalist, PB 231, although that was 5 years ago in Kumagaya in his home country in Japan. Shino again with this long, hard stare at the bar. What are we terming the personal duel? So now drives here. Look at this. Focus very carefully. Builds up speeds and really leans with his upper body. Fascinating technique to watch. You can see he remained quite central in the process, but unfortunately pushed down on that bar. He also tried something different there as well. He brought back that sort of head lean that we had seen earlier on in the competition. Clearly someone with good sprint speed as well. So just waiting for confirmation on Kamoi. Hasn't come up on the computer just yet. And then we'll have one more go for Shino. And then Akamatsu, well, it may just be up to him what height he'd like to try next. Well, here comes Shino. Right then, third attempt. Trying to match his teammate at 2:25. Runs towards that bar, and yes, I think previous attempts were closer. Unfortunately for Tomohiro Shino, he was out of the competition. 3 failures at 2:25. Ryoichi Akamatsu, though, winning here in Czechia. Kamoi confirmation, even if I can say it, that he has retired. That's still a solid 2:22. And then there was one. Ryoichi Akamatsu. So 228 may be the next height. That's what we're expecting in terms of progression, but he may have a different idea in mind. The qualifying height for the World Athletics Indoor Championships, 233. So you're watching live coverage of the conclusion stages really here of this World Athletics Indoor Tour meeting in Nehvizdy. High jump and shot put. The two focuses, shot put having concluded. We're watching here Ryoichi Akamatsu, the Japanese athlete, the 29-year-old who was 5th at the Olympic Games last year. You can see on his bib, it also tells you his personal best. 2 meters, 31 centimeters. Asian indoor champion as well, 2023 and 2024. Let's have another look here because, again, his technique has been enjoyable to watch. Watch closely on the approach. So it's going to go for a hard but controlled stride, builds up momentum, leans into this curb, takes off, but unfortunately, that's the first time that he's failed at any of these heights. But you can see confirmation we have gone up to 228 as was logically expected. You can see some of the other athletes that were part of the high jump competition already signing some autographs. Never sure whether people want autographs these days or it's just selfies and pictures. I think there's a number of the autographs that I've got in the past, you just lose the piece of paper sometimes. But then arguably you could lose a photo as well. Unless it's saved somewhere. This is the key part really, the interaction with the elite athletes. That's what a number of the kids come for. And so often it can inspire, as we know. Akamatsu, of course, will have more time because he's the only athlete left in the competition. So a chance to remind you that you can see the results on the Czechia Athletics website. That's online.atletica.cz. Atletica spelled A-T-L-E-T-I-K-A. Akamatsu still been a very positive competition for him. He'll have lots of good takeaways from this. Let's have another look here. Again, taking off quite close to the bar. He tried to make sure he had enough speed and transfer over the energy, but just his final step here relied a lot on that takeoff leg and just couldn't put the load through it. He's not quite ready to take any selfies just yet. I guess that's one thing about everyone being so close, that they all want a piece of you while you're still competing. Well, we expect that Akamatsu will have one more attempt. You got the sense with Kamoi before that, yes, just wasn't quite feeling at 225 today. Let's wait and see on Akamatsu. Still with one more attempt. Don't forget to keep an eye out on the European Athletics social media channels and website for other streams taking place, and also a lot of content as we build up towards those European Athletics Indoor Championships in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands between the 6th and 9th of March. Akamatsu, perfect before this height. Again, just tries to go through it in his head. Really impressed with the jumping of the Japanese athletes, though. One for the speed and also the slight variations in technique, the confidence that's been shown, and also it's just you know, so often we watch the same athletes time and time again and don't necessarily see too much participation in some of the major meetings from people from all around the world, all corners. Akamatsu, oh, he was close there. But he has really enjoyed being part of this occasion. He really did give it everything. Very strong through that takeoff phase compared to the previous attempt. Once again, those long legs just couldn't quite do it and fully clear that bar. And now's the moment to really soak up that atmosphere and enjoy it. Well, that concludes today's action. Just a quick recap then of the results. So Ryoichi Akamatsu winning the high jump, 2.25 at best, 3 centimeters higher than the best clearance of Thomas Kamoi and Tomohiro Shino. Right on cue. Here are the final results then. Two Mexicans back on 2.18, which proved to be the height that really separated some of today's best competitors from the rest. Akamatsu above them all. Good opportunity for experience of a World Indoor Tour meeting for our Czech jumpers as well, but then again they're not short of jumps meeting in Czechia. HVZDY, of course, we've seen recently, as ever, some fantastic achievements there. Time and time again, another intimately packed in atmosphere with a bigger tiered crowd as well. Just like in the Springer jump meeting in Cottbus, really enjoyed that one. And similar great performances there. Pole vaults, 2 as well, in a small indoor space. And well, naturally, in some of these venues, that's one reason why you do get high jump and shot put, because they tend to take up a little bit less space than some of the other events. In some cases, a lot less space. Anyway, been great to have you join, and hope you've enjoyed watching this stream today. A reminder that earlier Jessica Schilder won the women's shot put, best of 1997, and Leo Fabri, the Italian, 21.45 in the men's event. As I say, don't forget to keep an eye out on the European Athletics website and social media channels for more live streams, more content, as we build towards those indoor championships in Apeldoorn next month.